What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 1 NFL previews and picks. As always, I have my guy Ethan joining me to break
Up,
down
guys?
this week's games as we look to predict all the winners for this week. But before we get into it, hit that subscribe button down below to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. And we'll start it off with Thursday night on NBC tonight, the day you'll see this video come out. Lions Chiefs and Super Bowl champions for Super Bowl hopefuls here. And the biggest storyline coming into this game, obviously it's the first football game of the year, so that's obviously huge storyline. But now, because of Travis Kelce's hyperextended knee, is he playing? Is he not playing? Is he going to be on a pitch count? Is he not? Nobody knows what's going on here. I mean, but Travis Kelce, it seems like he's going to be a guy. He's a football guy. He's going to want to play. Even if he doesn't play this game, I'm still going with the Chiefs. It's hard to bet against the Super Bowl champion last year at home, game 1 of the year, prime time. It's hard to bet against them. Didn't matter who they were playing. If they were playing the Bengals, still would go with the Chiefs. But the Lions, are a Super Bowl contender and a lot of hype around that team.
Yeah, I think the Lions can make a really big statement here with a win in Kansas City. Travis Kelce, I don't know if he's playing. I'm not sure. He's just questionable. So if not, Noah Gray is in place to serve as the top pass catching tight end for them. So that's something to look out for. Chris Jones is also holding out, so he will not be playing in week 1. That's something to keep your eyes on. I do think the Lions can win this game. They got a possibility. You never really know. First game of the year, prime time. We'll see. I think it'll be a good matchup though throughout the game.
Moving over to Sunday, Panthers, Falcons, and our first disagreement. Panthers, I think are going to win this one. Bryce Young wins his debut, the #1 pick. And I just think there's more talent on the Carolina team week 1. And I think talent outweighs, game plans and skills in week 1. And you look at what Carolina brought in Miles Sanders with Chuba Hubbard still back there. Then they have brought in Adam Thielen as well to boost their wide receiver core. And obviously Bryce Young too, and a new head coach and Frank Wright. Then the defense I think is better than Atlanta's defense, so I got to go with Carolina.
If the Panthers, I think if the Panthers can bring it this week, then they have a chance to win, and it's going to be a dogfight. If not, and if you never know, first start by Bryce Young comes out and is turnover prone. I think the Falcons could run away with it and just pound that running game. That's why I'm going to go with the Falcons here. I just trust the coach more and not the quarterback per se, but I just think offensive weapons combined with defense, they have better defensive players as well.
And then we have Ravens and Texans, and this is going to be my lock of the week. If I were doing a survivor pool, I got to go with the Ravens here. They have a tough schedule remaining from like 4 to a certain amount where a lot of people lose. But week 1, this has got to be my team. At home, Lamar's healthy, team's fully healthy, new weapons on the outside. It just seems like Baltimore has to win this game.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is definitely going to win this game. Much better roster up and down, and I think Lamar's going to run all over him. Hopefully, Odell gets some passes. I think that's going to be really interesting to watch. He's going to be back, so really exciting game. I think for a 12 o'clock game, I think this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Bengals Browns kicking off the AFC North matchup, and this is probably one of those games that I would bet the spread on. I think Cincinnati, if they win this game, it's going to be at least by 3 or more. And, division games are tough games. But the Bengals, Joe Burrow said today, oh, he's ready to go. And I'm not worried at all about that. And the Browns, still have a lot of question marks. How are they going to replace a pass catching back in the backfield? Is Deshaun Watson actually ready to play this time? And how's the defense looking? Where the Bengals, they're more or less just we're worried about if Burrow's going to play or not. And I think, the Bengals are more prepped for these kind of games. So give me the Bengals.
Yeah, give me the Bengals as well. Now that everybody's healthy, Joe Burrow's back, and I think the Browns do have a shot to win this game. They really have had Cincinnati's number throughout the last few seasons. It's going to be a dogfight. Cleveland at home. We'll see how Deshaun Watson plays and that offense, but Nick Chubb's going to show up and bring it. So don't count Cleveland out of this game. If they win, it's not a bad bet to bet the spread on Cleveland either.
And then you have Jacksonville and Indianapolis, the battle of the AFC South to start the year. Jacksonville has had Indy's number, and I think the last 3 years they haven't lost to them. And I think the trend continues this year. Jacksonville is one of those teams that I think could be a Super Bowl contender when it's all said and done, and they're the heavy favorites to win their division. For the Colts, they're looking to just get Anthony Richardson some experience and see what they got, not only with him, but with their rookie class and the weapons outside. But if we're going pick straight up, I got to go with the Jaguars.
Yeah, me too. Jacksonville should have no problem with this game, depending on how Richardson shows. But preseason did not look too good for Richardson, so you really can't expect too much out of him and in his first start. I think Jacksonville wins it.
And then the game where Minnesota should dominate. I think Minnesota could cover this one as well. The Bucks, have a lot of question marks, more or less just because of Baker Mayfield, but they still have weapons. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rashad White, good supporting cast to help Baker, but the offensive line is taking some hits, and that's what's concerning for me. Where the Vikings had a good defense last year, and they still have a very good offensive team. So give me the Vikings at home.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Vikings in this one. I mean, the Bucks on paper look like they have no shot to win this game, but any given Sunday, you just never know if Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield can get that offense moving and put pressure on Kirk Cousins. You never know about an upset. I think that'd be one of the crazier upsets in my mind as of recent week 1 games.
And then you have Titans and Saints, and this is a game where I think either of these teams can win, and that's not saying too much because it's week 1. But I say that because these teams kind of have the big question mark around their name. Titans, obviously, quarterback play is their question mark. Saints is health, because in recent years, they've had some health problems in the wide receiver room. Kamara's been banged up, but he's suspended in this one. And then obviously you have to mention Derek Carr coming from Vegas to Saints. And I think that's a big reason why the Saints will win this game at home in the Dome, because the quarterback play is better.
Yeah, I believe the Saints will win as well. Is Tannehill? Do we know if Tannehill's the starting quarterback? That he is. So, I mean, this could bring back a vintage 2-3 years ago Titans team where they were just run that football. And I think if they win this game, it'll be because of Derrick Henry and the run game. But I just think the Saints, they have a better offense up and down. I think they're a little bit more explosive. They got the weapons in the wide receiver room now. So, and Derek Carr to throw the ball around. So I think the Saints are going to have a good season, and I think they're going to win the first game.
And then we have your Steelers facing the 49ers. And, I am going with the Steelers still originally. And, Bosa is going to play now that he signed his massive extension. So he will be playing in this one. And I don't think it matters. I mean, obviously, Kenny Pickett's going to have to worry about him more. But the Steelers on paper to me are a team that is just primed to a breakout season. Pickett had a good year. Pickens could be a top 10 receiver at the end of the year. And the supporting cast around those two with Najee, Pat Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, and even Allen Robinson could get a few noticeable, improvements to his game from what he's had in the last year. I think this team can do it. It's just more or less if San Francisco doesn't have George Kittle, which it's kind of looking unlikely at this point, that's a huge part of their offense, and I think that will cost them week 1.
Yeah, and you can't forget about the defense for the Steelers as well. They're going to be playing, I think TJ Watt and the guys are they always bring out some superhero things in week 1, just like last year against Cincinnati. So it always seems like they just play really, really good football in week 1. And to talk about the Niners, though, the Niners should definitely win this game still. They're favored by 2 points. If they don't, it's gonna be a low scoring game. Steelers are gonna be able to hold them on defense and hold Brock Purdy and all those, and Christian McCaffrey. And I think George Pickens is gonna have a huge game. So,
and then the last of the 1:00 games, you have Arizona and Washington. And if I'm a betting man, I think I'm gonna go with Washington wins this one by 2 touchdowns. They're starting Joshua Dobbs, Arizona is, who they just traded for actually a week and a half ago. And James Conner is pretty much the only reliable person in the Arizona offense right now. New head coach, a lot of turmoil. Kyler's out till week 4. For Washington, they're just on the upside right now. After last year's great year that no one really saw coming, the defense is fully back and healthy. Sam Howell looks like a leader, and the supporting cast around him, the wide receiver room, I think is exceptional. So give me the Commanders here at home.
Yeah, I think the Commanders are going to have a really good year this year, and Arizona's definitely rebuilding. So give me the Commanders at home. Arizona, they're not going to look good at all. I think this is going to get pretty ugly.
Then at 4:25, we're starting those games off with my Packers going on the road to face the Bears. And this game is more of a Jordan Love versus Justin Fields than any other matchup. Because if Fields can throw for, I'd say, 250 and run for 50, I think they might squeak out a win here. But if the Packers defense can limit him to only one of those things, I think they're going to walk away with the W. And I'm not saying Love's going to go off for 4 touchdowns or anything, but if he no mistakes football, throws maybe one interception, one turnover, and 2 touchdowns, then it's kind of hard for me to not take the Packers here in this one because we saw what they did last year with Rodgers. And when Rodgers struggled, he struggled a lot. But when Rodgers had one turnover or less, this team just seemed like they would just find different ways to win ball games. And that's what I think happens here.
Yeah, I think this game is a coin toss. You really can go either way. I was originally I had the Bears, but I switched it to the Packers. And I just think they have a better roster up and down. And I think it's going to be a close game. So I think every play is going to matter. And eventually, Green Bay, I think, will squeak out of it.
Raiders, Broncos here out west in the AFC West. Broncos, I mean, I don't want to say it's a make or break game already in week 1, but it feels like it is just because of all the turmoil that Russell Wilson, Sean Payton have went through, Sean Payton calling out other coaches. And it seems like there's a lot of pressure that they've put on themselves and media attention to be good. And if they don't live up to those expectations, then the Broncos might be cleaning house with a lot of people. Maybe Judy's gone, Javonte, who knows? They could trade this whole team and blow it up because Russ is still owed a ton of money. His contract that he signed last year doesn't take effect until 2024 season. So if he struggles again this year, they might just pay him to sit on the bench and go a different way. But we're just in week 1 here. Games haven't even started. And I think it gets off on the right foot here in beating the Raiders at home.
Yeah, that's a good point you make up. That would be really interesting. I hope it doesn't happen. I think Russell will have a better year this year. I think, and it starts here. I mean, this is the game. You have to win this game if you're Denver. The way they played last year, this is a must-win game to get your momentum off in the right, getting the right foot on the season. So they got to win this game, and it's a winnable game. They just they're at home. They're favored. They got to win here, or else it could be pretty bad.
Then one of the better games of the week, you have Dolphins at Chargers. And these two teams are playoff teams last year, looking to get back there this year. I think the Chargers win this one at home. It's a big case for Herbert because you know what happened last year in the playoffs. And last time we saw all them on the field, they walked off very disappointed. Well, I think they'll walk off the field after week 1 very happy after they squeak one out against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think this is the year that the Chargers actually they stop playing 500 football and they win games that they should win, and they also win games against the worst teams. And I think this starts here. Miami's a solid opponent. I think Chargers at home. It's going to be a really close game. I just trust the Chargers offense, and when their defense is healthy, they have a better defense than Miami, in my opinion.
Eagles go on the road to Foxborough and play the Patriots and Mac Jones. And I don't know why the spread is at 4. So this one I'm staying away from because I think that spread should be at least a touchdown. So that concerns me right there. And maybe Vegas knows something that we don't here. And I'm still going to go with the Eagles money line pick. I mean, it's kind of hard to bet against the Eagles week 1 after they win the Super Bowl and possibly a field goal and a drive away from winning the Super Bowl. They come into this year looking for revenge, looking to get back there. And I think they're going to beat up on the Patriots. And, I think this one's going to get ugly late in the 4th.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Patriots should have no real chance to win this game. I mean, their offense, they didn't get much better since last year, unless Mac Jones goes crazy, which I don't see happening. I think the Eagles just a better roster, better team. I'm going to go with the Eagles on the road.
And then you have two teams here looking to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. The Rams, obviously had a disappointing year. Seahawks had a very good year. And now the Rams already have announced that Cooper Kupp is out for this weekend on Wednesday when we're making this video. So that shows me there is concern there for Cooper Kupp because, they wouldn't announce that until, Saturday, maybe Sunday morning if it really wasn't that serious. It was a game time decision. But if he's already out now, very concerning. Where Seattle, they announced Jackson Smith-Njigba, the rookie wide receiver, is going to be playing this weekend. So they're going to have their 3-headed monster out wide along with their 2-headed monster. Charbonnet and Walker in the backfield. And I just think there's too many weapons on offense for Seattle to not win this game.
Yeah, all that plus Seattle at home, one of the hardest places to play. Stafford's first start back in basically a year. So I don't see the Rams winning this game, especially that Cooper Kupp's out. Seahawks should really beat up on the Rams this weekend.
And then moving to Sunday Night Football on NBC, Dallas in New York Football Giants. And Dallas, I'm going with Dallas here on the road. Giants, our team there, we thought preseason that is going to struggle and struggle the whole year. So I think this is the start of that, and I think they're my fluke team, the Giants last year, from what they did last year into this year. And Dallas walks away pretty easily with a win, I think by at least 10 or more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is going to be a tough place to play at MetLife. Sunday Night Football. All the Giants fans are going to be rocking in there. So if they can put pressure on Dak, that defense is young and they can fly around. So if they can put pressure on Dak and make him throw some interceptions and get the game turning towards the Giants' way, I think they could win and pull off the upset. But I'm not sure of that happening. I gotta trust with Dallas a little bit more. I think offensively they just have more firepower and their defense is stacked as well. So I got Dallas on the road.
And then to close out week one, the much anticipated debut of Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets and even Dalvin Cook as well. Who are they playing? Well, probably the best team in their division they have to face. The Buffalo Bills come to town. And the Bills, well, didn't really change up their roster too much. Got healthy. Von Miller expected back sometime very soon on defense. But I'm still going with the Jets here. I think there's too many weapons for the Bills to stop, and the Bills secondary has been exposed a few times. And who's better at exposing secondaries than Aaron Rodgers with all his shiny new toys? And the defense for the Jets, I'd say top 10, top 5, and they're hoping to be one of the best defenses of all time coming into the year. So high expectations here for the Jets, and I think they start out on the right foot week one.
Yeah, very high expectations for the year, and at home it really helps them. I think prime time. A lot of people are doubting the Jets a little bit. I feel like picked as much as the Bills. I mean, obviously the Bills are stacked and they're also very good, but 2.5-point dogs at home against the Bills is kind of crazy to me, I think. And I think the Jets you're right, way too much firepower, and the defense is loaded as well. So it's going to be a defensive battle. I think Rodgers makes less turnover, is less turnover prone than Josh Allen. So give me Rodgers and the Jets.
And that's going to be it for our video this week. Make sure you guys come back next week to see how we did in week one and our week 2 picks as well. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.